rather than just having one type of student that we produce into the market, we have a variety of students who are able to follow their particular interests, and sometimes they can bridge more than one specialization if they self-identify by the second term, and we can craft a personalized curriculum for them. It's a 2-year curriculum. It requires a internship or a field practicum between the first and second year. And while many programs will have internships, they tend to be paid internships that become a kind of threshold into future jobs. Many of ours will be with the Park Service, Alaska, Crater Lake, Yosemite. We also have a field practicum where students can actually go and develop a skill set, like our Croatia summer field school, or some, last year they went to Poplar Forest, Jefferson's summer retreat. And we look at that as an opportunity for students to be able to gain research skills either toward a particular skill set for a job, or that becomes an opportunity to gather research materials for their thesis. So, and then by the second year, they have a terminal project or thesis that's required. So it's a very robust, rigorous program that matches hands-on practical skills with theory and research. We are a Research One institution in AAU, so it is more than coming in and replacing sills in a log building. We want people who do hands-on work to have a broad conceptual framework for the work they do, and we want people who are more traditional academics to be able to know how things are built. So it's a balance of those two skills. My focus has been more on research and meaning. Ultimately, when we go and interface with these various buildings, that's one thing to restore them and stabilize them, but I want to make sure that we understand the role it plays in us understanding the series of forces that shaped it. So what I would say about how I've begun to redirect the program is it's what I call the humanist branch of historic preservation. We care as much about people as we do about buildings. And how that manifests itself is that we look at ways in which our architecture students working on Focal Area 1 is looking at improving the built environment at the community level for people who are there now or for recent arrivals to the built environment, rather than just looking exclusively to the 50-year cutoff period for listing a building in the National Register. I think one of the things that's changing nationally, particularly as we have a more diverse population, is dealing with the necessity for addressing cultural identity and change. And I think that's where particularly programs on the West Coast are interested in this particular issue. I know that Southern Cal has a similar interest, but it is something that I think we're ahead of the curve. What happens when you have a Main Street commercial area that has been repopulated by Hispanic users? Do we just commemorate the fact that it was shaped in the 19th century by one set of users, or do we acknowledge that there are multiple narratives that talk about the changing nature of place? And I think that our program is particularly strong in stressing that issue. But still, I think there is fewer than 8% of buildings listed in the National Register that deal with diverse populations. So we have a long way to go in that regard. As I always said, that buildings alone don't make place. People and their interaction with the natural and built environment make place.